dragged through the city by a horse, hanged until near death, then emasculated, disemboweled, and his bowels burned before him.
What the? They separated that man like fossils. How history's most wanted died. This is gonna be interesting because there's a few names on this list, actually a good amount of them that I actually have never heard of. So hopefully he goes over and educates us on who these people are and what they did, why they're so wanted. Without further ado, let's get into some educational videos because we love education on this channel, man. Let's go.
Osama bin Laden was the founder and leader of al-Qaeda. He organized major terrorist attacks, including 9/11, the 98 US embassy bombings, and the attack.
Now, did he organize 9/11? I guess that's controversial. I don't know. What do y'all think?
On the USS Cole, causing thousands of deaths. His actions contributed to wars in Afghanistan, Algeria, and Iraq. After 9/11, he became the world's most wanted man with a $25 million bounty.
Damn.
The US invaded Afghanistan and removed the Taliban government. He then fled to Pakistan, hiding in a compound in Abbottabad. On May 2nd, 2011, US Navy SEALs raided his compound around 1 a.m.
Not gonna lie, the one thing, bro, with the US Army, if you really mess around with America, you're gonna feel that wrath. You're not gonna hide for very long, bro.
On the second floor, they killed his son, Khalid bin Laden.
Damn.
On the upper floor, Osama leaned out of a bedroom doorway and was shot twice in the head. When they entered the room, his body was still moving, so more shots were fired into his chest to...
I mean, at least he tried to, like, defend himself, but nah, bro. There's nothing you could do.
...confirm he was dead. James Whitey Bulger was an American crime boss who led the Winter Hill Gang, an Irish mob group near Boston. In
Winter Hill Gang, of course it's near Boston, bro.
1994, his FBI handler John Connolly warned him about a pending RICO indictment, and Bulger went into hiding for 16 years.
Damn.
He was wanted for 19 murders, extortion, narcotics distribution, and racketeering. He was number 2 on the FBI's most wanted...
Yo, this is the original freaking Pablo Escobar, dude. How did it take so long to get him?
...list with a $2 million reward, considered the most wanted behind bin Laden. He was eventually arrested with his girlfriend outside an apartment complex in Santa Monica.
And what did she do?
On October 29, 2018, he was transferred to Hazleton Prison in West Virginia. The next day at 8 a.m., 89-year-old Bulger was found dead.
Oh my god, they got him out of there, bro. Yo, they did him like Jeffrey Epstein. Bro, immediately just somebody came and got him out of there, bro. They didn't want him to snitch.
Confined to a wheelchair, he had been beaten to death by inmates.
Oh, never mind.
Using a sock-wrapped padlock. His eyes were nearly gouged out and his tongue almost cut off.
Damn, he must have slimed out a lot of people in his heyday because, bro, immediately the first day or night you sleep in, you wake up, and then you don't wake up. He never woke up. I mean, shit.
Genovese crime family was suspected of ordering the hit, likely because Bulger had been an FBI informant. Che Guevara was an Argentine Marxist and key figure in the Cuban...
I've heard of this guy before. I don't remember if he was really liked or really hated.
...revolution. After helping overthrow the Cuban government, promoting armed communist insurgencies across Latin America and Africa, repelling the Bay of Pigs invasion, and helping bring Soviet nuclear missiles to Cuba, the US saw him as a major threat. He later tried to start a revolution in Bolivia, but the government airdropped leaflets, offering a $4,200 reward for his capture.
Damn, I never even heard of those methods. Airdropping some friggin' bounties, bro? Yo, that's actually smart.
Eventually, an informant revealed his guerrilla camp. In October 1967, Bolivian special forces, aided by the CIA, surrounded the area with 180 soldiers. Guevara was wounded in battle and captured, ending an international manhunt. The Bolivian president ordered his execution. On October 9th, Sergeant Terran entered the hut where Guevara was held. He said, "I know you've come to kill me. Shoot, coward."
Yo, he went out like Goldie Roger from One Piece, bro. That might be the inspiration. Low-key, why do they kind of look a little similar? Have y'all seen One Piece to know?
First shot him in the arms and legs, then fatally in the chest.
That's actually so wild how they used to do those executions with a gun or like brutally. I mean, I guess that maybe they still do it in other countries, but in America nowadays, they'll give you lethal injection and what else? Electric chair or something like that. I also heard, funny enough, that it costs like millions of dollars to actually give somebody the death penalty, which is weird because I always thought it was just like a simple just bullet or shoot them or something. I don't know, take them out instantly like that. But no, there's a whole process that costs millions of dollars, and it's actually cheaper to keep somebody alive for life in prison than it is to actually give them the death penalty, which still, I don't understand why, but it is what it is.
Musab al-Zarqawi was a Jordanian jihadist and leader of al-Qaeda in Iraq. He was responsible for kidnappings, hostage beheadings, bombings of hotels and embassies, plus attacks that fueled sectarian war between Sunnis and Shiites.
Get him out of here.
Causing thousands of deaths. The US placed a $25 million bounty on him. After months of pursuit, a captured associate gave information to Jordanian authorities, who passed it on to the US. On June 7, 2006, while he was meeting in a safe house in a small village, a US Air Force F-16C dropped 2 500-pound guided bombs on the building. He survived the blast at first. Iraqi police found him alive, placed him on a stretcher, and restrained him when he tried to escape.
Oh, damn, he's done.
He died from his injuries nearly an hour later.
Should've just let them arrest you, bro, and try to, like, nurse you back to health. Yo ass, bro, thought you were Superman.
An Iraqi witness claimed US troops beat the wounded al-Zarqawi. The US Army denies that. Ted?
I mean, even if they, bro, I feel like even if the US Army decided to be like, yeah, we did it, yeah, what would you really do about that, bro? I mean, he was literally terrible.
Ted Kaczynski was an American terrorist and one of the country's most wanted criminals during an 18-year bombing campaign. The FBI conducted its longest and most expensive manhunt at the time, offering a $1 million reward. Kaczynski killed 3 people and injured 23 others with mail bombs, targeting those he believed were advancing modern technology and—
What the? Yo, you order a package on Amazon, same day shipping, I don't know, you want to get like a new frying pan in the mail? No, it's a bomb. You instantly open that package and your arms are ripped to shreds and torn off. Yo, this guy is a menace. He just wanted to see violence. You had no reason to do this. He said because you're pushing technology? Since when was that a bad thing, bro?
Harming the environment. In 1995, he sent a letter to the New York Times promising to stop if his manifesto was published.
Bro.
It appeared in the Washington Post, but his brother David recognized the writing style, alerted the FBI, and collected the reward. In 1996, he was arrested at
Loser got slammed out by his own brother, dude. In Montana?
Cabin in Montana. He tried to fire his court-appointed lawyers because they wanted him to plead insanity. In 1998, he pleaded guilty and received multiple life sentences. He was later diagnosed with cancer and hanged himself with a shoelace in prison in June 2023.
Wow, what a turn of events. Should have pled insane, honestly, bro. That probably would have been better.
Muammar Gaddafi was a military officer who ruled Libya from 1960.
I've definitely heard of this guy before.
Until he was overthrown in 2011 during the first Libyan civil war. In the final months of his rule, he became one of the world's most wanted men. Interpol issued a red notice, and the International Criminal Court charged him with crimes against humanity. A bounty of $1.7 million was offered. In 2011, amid the Arab Spring, protests over corruption and unemployment started a civil war in Libya. NATO intervened in support of the rebels, and Gaddafi's government collapsed. After Tripoli fell, he was constantly on the move to escape NATO airstrikes. On October 20th, 2011, he tried to flee to his hometown, Sirte, in a convoy, but NATO bombed it.
Damn.
The convoy scattered, and
they were not playing with him.
In drainage pipes. But eventually, the rebels dragged him out. First, they beat him, then poked him in the butt with a—
What the I mean, damn, holy gruesome. Yo, imagine finding your biggest op. Like, to them, this is probably like their Adolf, mustache man, Mr. Hitler, right? Imagine you're searching up and down through the skies, through the clouds, seeing where he is, he's hiding, and then you find him in a sewage pipe, just like looking up like a freaking meerkat, bro.
Knife while filming it. He was placed on a pickup truck, fell off, then loaded into an ambulance, where he was declared dead.
Yo, they were doing him the worst way.
Officials said he died in crossfire from bullet wounds. His body was displayed in a public market freezer for 4 days, then buried in an unmarked desert grave. Saddam Hussein was an Iraqi politician who served as president from 1979 until 2003. His invasion of Iran—
Yo, there's quite a few different people from Iraq on this list already, bro. The most wanted people, there's a lot of them from here.
1980 and Kuwait in 1990 led to international retaliation, including the Gulf War. Accused by George Bush of possessing weapons of mass destruction, Iraq was invaded by a US-led coalition in 2003.
You know what's funny about that? I feel like America and like Western countries always are like, oh, you have a nuclear bomb, you have a weapon of mass destruction. Meanwhile, bro, me being half Japanese, the only people who's really ever enacted that is the freaking American government, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Hiroshima, bro, Nagasaki, like, brother, the only people who are allowed to have nuclear bombs is what? America and freaking Russia or something? Ain't nothing you can do about China or anything, but when somebody in the Middle East gets it, you're trying to gatekeep it. I'm confused, bro.
Saddam's
like,
government—
bro, as much as you probably wouldn't trust Iraq to have a nuclear bomb, obviously, right? Why do you trust, like, Russia? Why do you even— I don't even trust the freaking freaking American government, bro.
Iraq was invaded by a US-led coalition in 2003. Saddam's government collapsed in 3 weeks, and he went into hiding. The US placed a $25 million bounty on him, listing him as the most wanted Iraqi. In December 2003, during Operation Red Dawn, he was captured near Tikrit, hiding in a hole in the ground by a farmhouse.
I always found it cool how like the military missions, they had a name. Maybe because I was like a COD player when I was younger, so you could kind of see like certain operations and stuff, but
he was convicted of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death. Despite requesting execution by firing squad, he was hanged on December 30th, 2006. William Wallace was a knight and main leader in the First Scottish War of Independence. He defeated the English at the Battle of Stirling Bridge and was named Guardian of Scotland. Even after his defeat at the Battle of Falkirk, he remained a key threat to English rule. In 1305...
Am I the only one? Whenever I hear the word Kirk, bro, it only reminds me of one thing.
King Edward I placed a bounty of 300 silver marks on him, a massive amount back then, making him England's public enemy #1. He avoided capture until August, when Sir John de Menteith betrayed him near Glasgow and handed him to English forces. Charged with treason and crimes against civilians, Wallace was taken to London. On August 23rd, 1305, he was stripped, dragged through the city by a horse, hanged until near death, then emasculated, disemboweled, and his bowels burned before him. To make sure he was dead, he was then beheaded and quartered, and his limbs were displayed in Newcastle, Berwick, Stirling, and Perth. Ayman al-Zawahiri.
They separated that man like a treasure chest, bro. I guess that doesn't make sense. Like fossils, there we go.
Ayman al-Zawahiri was an Egyptian militant and the second leader of al-Qaeda after Osama bin Laden. He allegedly helped to plan the 9/11 attacks and was wanted by the US and UN for the 1998 US embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania.
Okay, so this guy been a menace. He just like bombing stuff.
And the 2002 Bali bombings. Before that, he was imprisoned in the 80s for his role in the assassination of Egyptian President Anwar Sadat. In May 2011,
how the hell is this man just roaming the streets, bro? He's too dangerous.
The US placed a $25 million bounty on him. US intelligence later found he had moved to a house in Kabul, Afghanistan, and tracked his routine, noting his habit of standing on the balcony. On July 31st, 2022.
So they just seen his ass just standing there. It's like, wait, ain't you the dude who be bombing people? Yo, that's not funny at all, but it's just funny how he got caught.
A CIA drone fired 2 R9X Hellfire missiles at his balcony, where he was standing, killing him instantly with sharp metal blades without harming others in the house.
Oh, very honorable way of taking him out. I like that.
Al Capone was an American gangster who led the Chicago Mafia in the 1920s.
Al Capone has to be the most famous gangster in history in America, correct?
He was involved in racketeering and alcohol smuggling, and later named public enemy #1 by the Chicago Crime Commission. In 1929, rival George Bugs Moran placed a $50,000 bounty on him. And Sicilian mobster Joey Aiello offered another $50K for his head. Amid this rivalry, Capone ordered the St. Valentine's Day massacre, killing 7 members of the North Side gang in broad daylight.
Yo, they were moving crazy back then. Like, the aesthetic and stuff was fire from, like, the gangster movies and stuff. But holy, I guess this guy is the reason why L Block exists to this day.
Now, the FBI and government had him in their sights. Unable to convict him of murder or bootlegging, they got him for 22 counts of tax evasion and threw him into Alcatraz. While incarcerated, he developed neurosyphilis and became increasingly feeble. Eventually, he was at
neurosyphilis? I thought syphilis was like an STD where you get like itch on your private parts, bro. Is that wrong or
the mental capacity of a child. He was released after 8 years, but on January 25th, 1947, at age 48, he died of cardiac arrest following a stroke.
How the hell did you even get out, bro? How the hell did the Al Capone get out of jail in 8 years?
Adolf Eichmann was an SS officer who organized the mass deportation of Jews to ghettos and extermination camps across occupied Europe.
So Adolf, strongest soldier, alright.
Eventually captured by US forces, but escaped escaped.
Wait, he has the same name as him. Are they brothers? Are they related, bro?
Using forged papers under the name Otto Eichmann, and later fled to Argentina as Ricardo Clement. He became one of the world's most wanted Nazi war criminals and Israel's top target. Living quietly in Buenos Aires, his identity was exposed through information from Nazi hunter Simon Wiesenthal and Lothar Hermann, whose daughter dated Eichmann's son. In May 19...
Yo, people who were hunting them down, very honorable, amazing work. I heard that in Argentina, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody let me know if you're Argentinian or whatever, please let me know in the comments if this is true or not. I heard online that like there's a very small section, I guess, in Argentina of people who are extremely racist, supremacist, and they have this old Adolf ideology because they are descendants of the people who came from Germany back then. Let me know, does that really exist, or is it just like a TikTok myth or some online, you know, jargon or whatever the hell?
An 8-man Mossad team captured Eichmann near his home after a short struggle and smuggled him to Israel. He was held for 9 months and interrogated, claiming he had only followed orders. Sentenced to death, he was hanged on June 1st, 1962. His final words affirmed loyalty to Germany, Argentina, and Austria and expressed belief in God. His ashes were scattered in the Mediterranean to prevent a shrine.
Yo, people will do all that and then claim to believe in God, bro. That's actually crazy.
Mengele was an SS Nazi officer known for selecting victims for gas chambers and conducting medical experiments at Auschwitz. After Adolf Eichmann's capture, he became the main target for Nazi hunters.
Oh, they're just freaking taking him down. Just boom, 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 boom. I respect it.
He fled to Argentina in 1949, later to Paraguay and Brazil. Despite being pursued by West German authorities, Israeli agents, and hunters, he was never caught. Rewards for his arrest totaled $3.7 million.
Damn.
But on February 7th, 1979, while visiting friends in Bertioga, Brazil, he suffered a stroke while swimming in the ocean and drowned.
Deadass, bro. Are we serious? We didn't get to see a cruel ending to this guy, bro. Somebody could have used that $3.7 million, especially if he's in Brazil, bro. Brazil has some crazy ghetto projects, right? Like favelas and stuff. I know somebody could have had a great time with that money.
John Wilkes Booth was an American stage actor who assassinated President Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C.
Is this the most famous killer in American history? I feel like everybody knows who John Wilkes Booth, even somebody who's not into history at all like me. I definitely learned about John Wilkes Booth for sure.
Escaped through a stage door, mounted a waiting horse, rode into southern Maryland, and hid in the woods. He became the target of the largest manhunt in US history at that time, involving thousands of federal troops and civilians. The War Department offered a $100,000 reward for his capture, equivalent to $2 million today. Booth crossed the Potomac River into Virginia by boat and hid at a farmhouse. But on April 26, 1865, 26 Union soldiers from the 16th New York Cavalry tracked him down. His accomplice, David Harold, surrendered, but Booth refused. The soldiers set the barn on fire. As Booth moved inside, Sergeant Boston Corbett shot him in the neck.
Yo, is there ever like evidence or any like explanation or reason for why he ended up doing that to Abraham?
Back to the porch of the farmhouse and died 3 hours later at age 26. His reported last words were, "Tell my mother I died for my country." Matteo Messina
It's gotta be because he was racist or something and hated black people, bro, because Abraham was trying to free the slaves or whatever it was, bro. It's gotta be one of them, like, type of reasons.
Was an Italian mafia boss and leading figure in the Cosa Nostra. He was responsible for dozens of murders, including 11-year-old Giuseppe Di Matteo, as well as bombings, extortion, and the 1992 murders of 2 anti-mafia prosecutors. He became a fugitive in 1993 and remained on the run for 30 years, making him Italy's most wanted criminal and a top target in Europe. In 2010, he was listed among the world's 10 most wanted and powerful criminals. In January 2023, he was arrested at a private cancer clinic in Palermo, where he was receiving treatment under a false name. He died from colon cancer in a prison hospital on September...
They took him off his cancer treatment just to put him in prison, and then still give him treatment? You might as well have just left him in there, bro.
25th, 2023. Charles Arthur Floyd was an American criminal named Public Enemy No. 1 by the FBI in July 1934. He led a violent crime spree across the Midwest and was wanted for multiple bank robberies, the killing of several police officers, and was a suspect in the 1933 Kansas City massacre where 4 officers died. but some viewed him as a folk hero because he burned mortgage papers during robberies, freeing people from debt.
Oh.
Still, a bounty of $23,000 was placed on him, and a large multi-state manhunt followed. On October 22nd, 1934, he was riddled with bullets in a shootout with federal agents and local police in a cornfield in Ohio.
Bro, thinking that you as one man can defeat an entire army of people is gotta be one of the most delusional, dumb choices you could have made.
30. His funeral drew around 40,000 attendees, the largest in Oklahoma history.
Damn.
Henry McCarthy, better known as Billy the Kid, was an American outlaw linked to 9 murders and a central figure in New Mexico's Lincoln County War.
Oh, damn.
After killing a blacksmith in Arizona, he became a fugitive and began stealing cattle. His notoriety grew after he killed Sheriff William Brady. By 1880, newspapers had made him one of the most feared outlaws in the West.
All I know is this like cowboy swag, low-key, bro, fire fits, I'm not gonna lie. I guess that's random, has nothing to do with what he just did, but yeah, I had to say that.
After escaping jail in 1881 and killing 2 deputies, he became a top target, with a $500 dead or alive bounty. On July 14th, 1881...
That's it? $500? $500? That's it?
Sheriff Pat Garrett tracked him to Pete Maxwell's house in Fort Sumner. Around midnight, Billy entered Maxwell's dark bedroom, not recognizing Garrett, who sat there talking to Maxwell. Asking, "Who is it?" He drew his revolver.
GG's.
Garrett recognized his voice and fired twice, hitting him in the chest. Aged
Should've drew faster, man. Should've put that quick draw perk on from Call of Duty, bro.
21. Billy the Kid bled out on the bedroom floor. Edward Teach, known as Blackbeard, was an...
Whoa, hold on, holy crossover, because right now, I'm a One Piece fan. If you're a One Piece fan, you know about Marshall D. Teach, okay? AKA the Blackbeard. This is the original Blackbeard. I gotta learn the lore right now.
An English pirate who operated in the West Indies and the coast of Britain's North American colonies.
Is he also an inspiration for the dude from Pirates of the Caribbean? What's his name? I can't remember, but you know who I'm talking about, okay? Not Davy Jones, but maybe actually Davy Jones partially, but what's the dude's name? Gosh, I can't remember.
He blockaded the ports of Charlestown, ransomed its residents, captured ships, and looted prisoners, becoming North America's most wanted pirate. Virginia Governor Alexander Spotswood placed a 100-pound bounty on him and ordered a mission to stop him. In November 1718, Lieutenant Robert Maynard led a Royal Navy expedition to find him. On November 21st, Maynard located Blackbeard anchored near Ocracoke Island. When the battle began, Blackbeard's ship fired a broadside that killed and wounded many of Maynard's men. But Maynard had hidden part of his crew below deck. When Blackbeard boarded, the hidden sailors rushed out, and a fight across the bloody deck followed. Maynard wounded Blackbeard with his pistol, and he was eventually slashed on his neck by Maynard's men.
Oh my, yo, they took him out. Don't worry, sir, we can split $100 50-50. Yeah, $50 each, that probably gets you a little bit of nice stuff back then.
Severely wounded, he was overwhelmed. Blackbeard's head was cut off and hung from Maynard's ship to claim the reward. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was an Iraqi militant and founder of the Islamic State, widely considered the world's most wanted terrorist with a $25 million US bounty. He led ISIS in wars across Iraq and Syria and directed global terror attacks, mass bombings, executions, and the genocide of Yazidis. He lived in constant hiding, traveling at night, using disguises, and staying with a small group of loyal guards, often in the deserts of Syria and Iraq. But by late
how do these people be manipulating them to have like a little army? That's actually wild.
2019, many of his top aides were dead, and his location had been identified.
And the crazy part is, like, these people defending like these top terrorists or whatever the hell, like terrible people in general throughout this video, they'll think they're actually doing a good thing because they're so brainwashed.
US Joint Special Operations Command launched a helicopter raid on his compound in northwest Syria. As forces closed in, he fled into a tunnel, was cornered by military dogs, and detonated a suicide vest, killing himself and 2 children with him.
Yo, he didn't care about nothing. He just didn't want to get caught, bro. You're a scum. Absolute loser. Zero respect at all.
Manuel Marulanda was a Colombian guerrilla considered a terrorist, assassin, and kidnapper. As the longtime head of the Marxist-Leninist
He got 3 strikes. He's out.
Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. He directed numerous attacks against the Colombian state and civilians. Plus, he had connections to drug cartels. He became one of the most wanted in Colombia and the United States. In 2006, the US placed a $5 million bounty on him. He was the target of massive manhunts.
I'm not gonna lie, the only things I really know about Colombia that I've heard is like they have BBLs, coke, and like a decent football team or soccer, because you know, in America we call it that.
Survived at least 3 bombing raids aimed at him, but he was never captured. He eventually died of a heart attack in March 2008 in a mountain jungle hideout. Velupillai Prabhakaran was a
Velupillai Prabhakaran. That is the craziest name so far.
Tamil guerrilla leader of the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. For more than 25 years, he directed a separatist war against the Sri Lankan government.
I don't think I know a single thing about Sri Lanka now that I think about it.
Bases in the jungles. He was considered one of the most wanted individuals in South Asia and by international authorities for decades. He was held.
I take that back. Colombia, they're known for coffee too, right? A little bit, kind of.
Responsible for the 1996 Colombo Central Bank bombing, which killed 91 people, mostly civilians, and for orchestrating the 1991 assassination of former Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, after which he became India's
Is this Rajiv Gandhi like a associate or relative of the Gandhi that we all know?
most wanted man. He also faced terrorism and murder charges internationally, and the LTTE was designated a terrorist organization by 33 countries.
Okay.
But by 2009, the Sri Lankan military overran the last LTTE-held territory. On May 19, 2009, Prabhakaran and his closest bodyguards were surrounded during a final army operation and shot in the mangroves.
Yeah, it's over, bro.
Shamil Basayev was a Chechen guerrilla leader and commander in the breakaway Chechen Republic of
Chechen. Okay, this is a Czech Republic, right? You know what's funny? I feel like people from Czech Republic, every time I spoke to them, and it's not been that many times, but if you ever mistake them for being Russian, like they get genuinely offended. I guess maybe Czech Republic has some like crazy beef with Russia. I don't know, but that's kind of what I remember.
Ichkeria. He became Russia's most wanted man and was considered one of the world's most wanted terrorists, with a $10 million bounty on his head. Called Russia's Osama bin Laden, he led the 1995 Budyanovsk hospital raid that
I mean, he looks pretty similar to him. Killed 100 plus civilians in a hospital. Yeah, you're scum. Yeah, get him out of here.
killed over 100 civilians. The 2002 Moscow
Put him up on a stone, hang him up by his ankles, throw rocks at him until he bleeds out, bro. We're good. We're good on this guy.
theater hostage crisis, and the 2004 Beslan school siege, which left more than 330 people dead, mainly children. On July 10, 2006, he was killed near Ikajeva, close to the North Ossetia border.
Okay.
Russian officials said the FSB tracked him by drone and remotely detonated explosives hidden in a truck as his car approached, taking him out while he planned his next attack. Rebels claimed he was killed accidentally while inspecting a landmine. His torso was found at the center of the blast. The rest was scattered up to a mile away. Bonnie and Clyde were American outlaws who traveled across the central US with their gang.
Yo, they are so famous to the point where, like, if you see some random couple, there's like a good chance they call each other Bonnie and Clyde, think that they're tough. It's like, you're gonna be my Clyde, I'm your Bonnie, blah, blah, like.
In the early 1930s, they carried out bank robberies, store and gas station holdups, kidnappings, and were responsible for at least 13 murders. They became two of the most wanted criminals and were labeled public enemies. By 1933, federal, state, and local law enforcement were coordinating to track them across multiple states. They studied their movements and
I will give it to them that they are like the most unique criminals on here, just because like you don't really see like a dude and a girl just gunning people down, bro. Not that it's a good thing or cool at all, but you know what I mean when I say it's different, at least.
predicted their routes. On May 22nd, 1934, 6 officers set up an ambush along Louisiana State Highway 154, hiding in roadside bushes, waiting a whole day. Early the next morning, the gang's vehicle approached at high speed. They opened fire, riddling the car with 130 bullets, unloading their automatic rifles, shotguns, and pistols. They kept shooting even after the car stopped.
I think they're dead, actually.
Not take any chances. Jesse James was an American outlaw bank and train robber.
I've seen this guy, yo. What a mustache, though, yo. Damn, that shit peak.
During the Civil War, he and his brother Frank joined the pro-Confederate guerrillas known as bushwhackers. They were accused of carrying out violent attacks against...
They're called freaking bushwhackers. That just sounds racist, bro. Let me find out they used to call black people bushes and then they're whackers. Yo, bro.
Union soldiers and civilian abolitionists, including involvement in the 18 attacks against Union soldiers and civilian abolitionists, including involvement in the 1864 Centralia massacre. After the war, Jesse and Frank formed a gang, which became one of the most feared outlaw groups. When they murdered a bank clerk in 1869, a nationwide manhunt started. By 1881, James had a $10,000 bounty on his head.
Damn.
With most of his gang gone, James relied on two new recruits, brothers Charlie and Robert Ford. But on April 3rd, 1882...
Yeah, they about to snitch so fast. You put a freaking McDonald's Happy Meal in front of them, put that red 40 with some Takis in front of them, a blue Gatorade, they're gonna snitch instantly because that flavor just hits their brain at maximum levels and increases their dopamine and lowers their cortisol. Facts.
After breakfast together, while planning another robbery, Jesse walked into his living room to adjust a crooked picture on the wall. Robert shot him in the back of the head to collect the reward.
Oh my gosh.
Noordin Mohammad was a Malaysian militant, key bomb maker and financier for Jemaah Islamiyah. He became Indonesia's most wanted Islamist militant, with authorities offering a reward of around $100,000 for information leading to his capture. He was linked to the 2003 JW Marriott Hotel bombing, the 2004 Australian Embassy bombing, and the 2005 Bali bombing.
How the hell is this dude just getting his hand on this many? I mean, I guess he's making the bombs.
Making him one of Southeast Asia's most wanted men.
Yeah.
In 2006, he narrowly escaped when Indonesian police raided his safe house.
You're not gonna bomb your way out of this one, buddy. You're done.
In central Java, Indonesia. He remained on the run for years, constantly changing locations. But on September 17, 2009, Indonesian police tracked him and 3 bodyguards to a village house in central Java. After surrounding the building, police stormed with explosives, killing everyone inside.
Damn, the way he came and got famous or whatever, what he was doing with bombs, they took him out the same way.
Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as
El Mencho, the head cartel boss. I definitely know this guy.
National Guard forces, and
I think due to the fact that this was pretty recent, I feel like I remember this, yeah.
And at least one civilian death.
Well, that's gonna do it for today's video. That was the most wanted people in history and how they died. Let me know in the comment section who you think was the worst person on the list, as in they committed the craziest crimes. I think off the rip, the most famous one, definitely Osama bin Laden, right? Maybe Hussein's up there too, he's pretty famous. And then the whole El Mencho we just watched was pretty recent as well. Either way, that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join the link in the description. Let me know what you want to check out next on the channel. With that being said, it's love you all. I love you, and I'm out.